All right. I couldn't stay away. I was like, I'm not gonna write. I'm not gonna write today. And I was like, I should write something though, right? Shouldn't I write something today? Isn't that how this is supposed to work? Get some words in. Plus, I'm gonna be eating little mini pizzas. Mini pizza. Oh, I can't do it. I was like, I'm gonna take the car. Truck needs an oil change. I'll do some laundry. I'll get some reading in. I'm gonna do all these things, Keith. And then I said to my wife, "Hey, can you book a oil change at the place over here for tomorrow?" And she's like, "They don't have anything till Thursday." I said, "Then 9 a.m. Thursday morning, I'll do it." And then yesterday, I was like, after I was on here, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just start. I'm just gonna throw a load of laundry in, and I ended up doing all three loads of laundry. It did some cleaning up. Hey Tish, what's going on? And I was like, then this morning I did emails and stuff, and I said, all right, let me I got to get some writing in. And I was like, I don't want to. I was like, the only way I can do it is to get in here. Hey, man. Good morning, pontificator. Good to see you. Good to see you on. Good to see everyone on. Oh, I didn't take my old man pills today. Hold on. But and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go on. I miss Keith. I miss chatting with Keith. So why not chat with Keith? And I'm drinking mushroom coffee, so. And I just spilled mushroom coffee everywhere. What's better than drinking mushroom coffee? Spilling it on your desk. Keith says, I finished the first draft of Memoir of a Monster Book 4 this morning. So, yeah, hey, very good. Congratulations. I know you're here for me, Keith, and that's why I'm here. For myself, for everyone. So, I might do 2 hours. I don't know. Tish says, I used to drink mushroom coffee. Mom gave it to me. Hadn't got any since. It really, how do I say this nicely? It really runs through me. I've had about 3 different brands of it for various mental healths and whatever else. And I don't drink it. I can't drink it every day. I think I would be ripped apart. And the last couple times I drank it, I think last week or the week before, I had like 1 or 2 cups a week, and I haven't I haven't it hasn't really affected me all that well. So there's Chad Luskin in the house. Good job, Keith. Tisha's. I'm the only one who liked it. I like it. It's I mean, it tastes like mushrooms and dirt mixed with coffee, and it's fine. That's the way I describe it. So I bought 3 different. I had purchased 3 different kinds, and I just kind of threw them all in a box, mixed them up like a dozen of each. So I probably have about 25 or so left. I'll keep drinking it though. I'll keep drinking it. I don't care for shrooms, so I probably wouldn't like it. If you don't like mushrooms, you're not gonna because it you can taste. I think you can taste the mushrooms. I don't know. I love mushrooms. I love. In fact, tonight I might make a cheesesteak sandwich, just one instead of the 3 or 4 that I normally make, but with a can of mushrooms on it. It's earthy, and I love anything with mushrooms. Yeah, so do I. Because I always found mushrooms tasteless. Really, they don't have an over. What I like about mushrooms, they don't have an over, like putting like say banana peppers on something, and then all you taste is the banana peppers. You know, or putting um, 10W40 oil on something, and all you do is taste. It's like you're tasting an engine. Because I just got 2,000 words in this morning. I'm sitting at 20,000 total, going for that 40K goal by May, which means like 2,100 a day. Good for you, Chad. Nice. You don't burn yourself out is right. Because you got this, Chad. I usually write 2K a day. You can do it with some mental breaks in between. Yeah. Today was going to be that a mental break for me, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to write. Even if I only write for like an hour, I just have to write something because I haven't written in several days now. I think last Friday was the last time I wrote. I didn't get any right. We obviously we didn't do any writing yesterday, but if I could do 2K a day, I'd be dangerous. You would be wildly dangerous, armed and dangerous. Exactly. Not how. However, yeah, be dangerous. I'm hoping that one day I'll laugh at 2,000 words. I want those Kuntz, Mallerman, Stephen Graham numbers. Yeah, my full time job gets in the way. You always wonder. I always wondered when I had a full time job. And I'm like, I'm still writing, 1,096 words a day is my average. How many words I would write if I didn't have to go to work for like 10 or 12 hours a day, 6 days a week? And I'm like, I could write about 10,000 words a day, like you look at it like unrealistic like that. And then I had those days where I was writing 5 to 10,000 words in a day with no problem. And then you get like 4 or 5 days. Like I once wrote, I think it was 18,000 words in a day to finish up one of the movie books. That might have been the most I've ever written in a day, 18,000 words. And then I remember for like 3 straight days after that, I just could not write and did not want to write. You get so burned out. You just need a mental. You need a break. So it all ends up averaging out over the year anyway. But There's no there's for me there was no, well, I'm going to write 5 times the amount of words or whatever. Plus all the promotion, plus all the other garbage that goes along with it too, If you start to sell books and you start to do all this, you realize all the other stuff gets in the way. Most of it written in a single day is around 4,600 to finish off Foster Homes and Flies. Now, when we do MondoCon every year, my goal for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday is 5,000 words a day, and I hit it all 3 days. So in that weekend, I'm writing like at least 15,000, closer to 20,000 words, which I'm happy with. Damn, those are some big numbers. That's like writing 3 Lutsky books every month. It's usually like I'm finishing a book. The last couple of years, I finished a book during MondoCon and just writing that third act. 63,000 word book, and I'm writing 20,000 words, the last 20,000 words of it. I think this year I'm going to start a whole new book, a brand new book on that weekend. Key says, received another rejection from the dark for my gothic ghost story. That guy is a tough nut. Yeah. Oh, he's getting a billion stories coming in. How long did it take? At least he's reading quick, or he's starting stuff and he's like, he's like, three sentences into this, boring. Nope, not my thing. Whatever. Knock through some emails real quick. Maybe it sounds, if it's a day, maybe he read the whole thing. All of those where there's people like literally 12 minutes later. I got to know. Like, what you did not do? Catch him from that opening sentence. I also would imagine it's, it's, we're human. I imagine it's what kind of mood he's in at the moment, how busy he is, how many stories come in at that point. I know when I was reading for anthologies, I would be like, all right, if I get more than 5 stories, I have to get rid of one. I cannot ever have more than 5 stories on my plate. Now, I might not accept or reject any of them at that point. I just kind of write them down of a yes, no, maybe. And I would always send a rejection or obviously an acceptance, because I just think that's the right thing to do. But I hate it. I think I did one anthology one time years ago, and man, I probably had 150 stories all come in when it opened, and I was like, yeah, I'll get to it. And then it was just like, oh, now I got to read through all of these stories. I remember Crystal Lake had become a tough nut for me to crack trying to get in their Tales from the Lake. I would sub every year and get rejected. Yeah, I think I got in one of theirs, maybe two. But yeah, those were tough back in the day. I'm getting a lot of yeah, I really didn't go through my emails all that much while we were away over the weekend. And yesterday I'm going through it and to, like, now I'm getting a ton of people sending me spam about my YouTube. It's, hey Armin, I'm Anuradha Rabichandran, my personal ads account specialist or strategist this quarter from YouTube. We need to catch up and discuss your ongoing campaigns and your videos, and then a whole list of AI. I can get better subscribers. I get better viewers. Recommend blah 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 blah. Let's book a meeting. And it's like the same message with random names. Like the next one will be from like Bob Smith, and it'll literally say the same crap over and over and over. I'm like, I don't need your help. Chad Lutsky. I broke 80,000. I just broke 80,000 subscribers, people. I'm averaging about $5 a day so far on my estimated revenue earnings. I think that's pretty good. Of course, it doesn't tell you the last couple of days. That's only through Sunday. I think that would be 10 days. So I made about $50. I appreciate everybody watching ads. Thank you very much. I'm seeing some griping about YouTube demonetizing channels using AI. Yeah. Thank you, Tish. I said all that to say, keep at it, Keith. Congratulations. Thank you very much. Need to step away. We'll keep video on. Check it when I get back if you're still here. Thank you, Tish. I appreciate it. You keeping it on. You're the wind beneath my wings, Chad. Yeah, I would imagine you and Chad would have such a love affair. But yeah, they're really cracking down on the AI stuff, which is good, because there are. I haven't looked in a while, but I know there was a couple of writing. You know, when I was doing all my research for the writing ones, and there were so many AI writing ones that were just basically just churning out whatever AI was stealing, all the advice, which is a lot of counterintuitive, a lot of made up stuff. It was just crazy. There is so much AI garbage on YouTube, I won't watch it. Yeah. I mean, it's ridiculous. So when I was, and again, when I was just really starting out here and I was trying to learn stuff, and you try to be positive and think not people aren't on here trying to rip you off, and then you realize, oh yeah, everybody, like everywhere else, all social media, everybody's trying to make a quick buck, and it doesn't matter morally if it's right or not. So I was like, I would start a video and be like, no, this is AI garbage, so don't recommend this channel. And then all of a sudden it was like, I don't know, 10 channels I watched, and 4 of them were just AI garbage. And I'm like, what? And some of them had like 100,000 subscribers. And I'm like, how? Who's watching this? Because sometimes I put on those night jazz channels streaming hours of smooth jazz with some cool background, and I'm beginning to wonder if both the images and music is created by AI. Could be, very likely. So I used to watch, maybe I shouldn't be say this or be proud of it. I used to watch those walks on the beach ones in like Rio, you know, and I like a big butt, I cannot lie. And so the people would just be walking on the beach with their phone, and then you would just see all the big butts and thongs, and you would hear the waves crash and all. And I would put that in the background. A lot of times, then I would put it on, but I wouldn't even be like every now and then I would look up, obviously, but it was just the noise in that. And then one of the channels, a lot of the times, those channels then get knocked off. YouTube, I guess, doesn't want you to show big butts and thongs. And it would get to the point though where then they would come back with a different name. And then lately, the last couple times I put one on, it was AI. It was those AI looking people with, I mean, like humongous butts like this, just walking around. And I'm like, no, this. Why do I want to watch an AI beach? He says, when I watched that last book review you did, the commercials came at the end. I watched them, but there's no telling if you get the credit or the next autoplay video that came up, which wasn't you. As long as the commercials during the thing at the end, I should get credit. I appreciate you watching them. Remember yesterday I was talking about the two kids in the pool with grandma, with the plastic 65-year-old grandma in the pool at the casino hotel. And I couldn't remember the name of the kid that they kept. Cashton. C-A-S-H-T-O-N, I guess. Cashton. Shelly, my wife, watched the video later. She wasn't on with us live yesterday, but she was watching from work. And it was Cashton and Kennedy. The girl was Kennedy. Cashton. You didn't name your kid Ashton. You didn't name your kid Cash. You named him Cashton. So I immediately was like, I got to have an awful redneck with a pickup truck, Cashton, because that just seems like that name. Feel free to use it yourself in a story. Cashton. Oh. Charlie in the house. How's it going? Oh, it's going, Charlie. It's going. I'm getting some writing in. I'm eating some little pizzas. I got some steps in this morning. Me and my wife, we wrote down our weight. I was actually, so I weighed. I thought I was going to be like 350, 360, somewhere in that range. Yesterday was 343.8 pounds. Still like 75 pounds too heavy. But better than I thought it was going to be, especially after a weekend of having a buffet and all that. So we started our notebook yesterday. I didn't get a lot of steps in yesterday, like 3,000 steps, which is nothing. I'm going to get more steps in today. And there's that girl walking her dog again. The dog always stops at the same spot of grass and smells. I would imagine that another dog is using that one spot there. Anyway, wrote down all of our food from yesterday that we ate. And that's it. I made chicken cutlets, egg noodles, and corn yesterday. And we split it into thirds. So we each got 2 pieces of chicken. And then I do the egg and the, what do you call that? It just says breadcrumb fried eggs. But it's not really. Anyway, whatever it is. I like that better than the chicken sometimes. So we each had two pieces, a third of the egg noodles, a third of the corn. And I cooked dinner last night. So my wife on her way home, she said, I'm on my 7 o'clock. I'm on my way home. I started cooking. We had a delicious meal. And then a third of it she's taking for lunch tomorrow when she's at work. She's at her mother's today, so she normally will just eat something there that she has to make for her mom. She says slow and steady. Yeah, I like using strange names that eventually grow on people, like Cake Donaldson. Yeah, that's a good name, right? That's a name you're going to remember. Come on, spell. Charlie says, speaking of strange names, I was just reading a book where the main character's name is Maud. It isn't an old Booker character, more hipsterish. Yeah, those old school names are coming back. My wife's niece is 13, and we always ask about all the kids in every year. Give me some of the names of the kids in your class. And yeah, there's a lot of those named, like Maud. She had an Esther, I think, last year, something like that. Some old name like that. I'm like, what are you doing? I guess it's a family name. We'll go back 30 generations. It's better than naming your kid some fake name that you made up, like Charlie. That's not a real name. I did name an old lady Esther in one story. Yeah, I mean, you have to. I think it's a rite of passage as authors. By the way, Charlie, thank you for the review of Permafrost. Appreciate that. I'm going to be sharing that up all over the place in a little bit. Hopefully, you'll get some looks. Hopefully, I'll get some freaking sales on it. Looks and subscribers. Yeah. Yeah. Charlie gets a bunch of new subscribers, and I get some book sales. Gosh, who would name their kid Maud? Right? I'm gonna tell you what, though. I wish your name was Maud, Chad. Trey says, my problem. No, oh, no problem. My problem. No problem. Thanks for sharing. Hopefully, I helped sell some books. I also posted a short review on books of horror, and there have been some good comments. Oh, really? I'll have to look at that. I try to stay away from those people. Let me look that up. I guess I stay away from most things on the Book of Faith face. I just got to go through 8,700 posts, depending on how long ago you posted it. I'm just going to be scrolling and scrolling. I also got to fill out for BoucherCon 2027 will be in Washington, D.C., and they're doing a early, what do you call it for it? Like a discount if you sign up early. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go. I'm going. It's not this September. It's next September, I believe, or October. One of those. So I don't know if my wife is going to go. I'm going to sign up for both of us. She had a great time last year, and hopefully she'll be able to go. And the guest of honor, the first guest of honor they've announced, is S.A. Cosby. But there will be many, many more. Hopefully, I'll get to be an what do you call it, for a panel, or at least be on a panel would be nice. Of course, the also the problem is here is that I'm looking through this group and it's like who knows how many billions of freaking posts since you posted that, Charlie. Does it have a picture? Does your post have a picture of my book? Because I'm just basically looking through for my book. There it is. I got it. I got a couple good comments. All right, very good. I'll comment on it. Bump it back up. The problem then is then I'm going to get people who are going to now I immediately get off of Facebook. Now I immediately let me look at my. I actually sold any. I haven't sold much of anything. I have $1.02 in estimated royalties for today. Oh, somebody started to or somebody read 38 pages of Permafrost today on Kindle Unlimited. That's something. Shakedown. If you haven't read Shakedown, the first book in my First Coast Thriller series, it is free for the next couple of days. So grab a copy. I mostly stay on Facebook too, Charlie says. Every once in a while, I go on a commenting spree just so I'm on there and can post about my books when I have one. Probably a good idea. Yeah, I found it. Is that a group of writers or fans, Charlie? Yes, it's both. They're a little obnoxious. From time to time, I don't know how long you've been with us, Keith, but I know a while ago we would complain because basically it's somebody would go in there and go, I need a book that's going to scare me. And then they name like 10 books that supposedly scare people that didn't scare them. Or I want the most extreme book ever. Like all kinds of just dumb. I need a book where someone's trapped in a refrigerator for at least 100 pages. Can you help me? All kinds of weird stuff. I haven't read it yet, but I'll pick it up. I saw that review you shared. A lot obnoxious. Emily Frank, adding to my TBR now. Well, thank you. Nope, that's not how you spell words. Or how you spell words that like that either. Okay. Oh, this dude's gonna be running out there. As a kid, looks like a high school kid. And he jogs every day, like for like 2 hours. He'll be out here now, but usually later in the day. Charlie says they love to use the word destroy. I want a book that will destroy me. Yeah, they do that a lot. Keith, I tend not to market to other writers. They're just as broke as I am. It's a group of future serial killers. You know what, Chad? You might be right. That's the group where they'll be like, yeah, I need something really scary with like mutilation and baby death. My 8-year-old, she loves that stuff, and I'm so glad she's a horror fan. I'm like, you're an awful parent. You were just an awful, awful person too. when it first started, it was an amazing group. It really was. It was a lot of readers in there, and the authors didn't comment on every post about their book. There's two authors, I won't mention their names, that will comment on every single. I'm looking for when where 100 pages of people are trapped in a refrigerator, and they both immediately jump. Listen, I don't have a refrigerator, but the person is trapped in his own mind for 3 pages. Here's the link, and all they do is just promote themselves like that, like crazy, and it's just annoying. Tracy says, there's a good bit of readers who only read indie authors, so if you can get some traction on there, I'm sure it'll sell books. Yeah, it used to. For me, it used to sell books. I'm not doing as much horror anymore either, but I don't write the crazy extreme stuff that they're looking for. All right. I posted the review up on Facebook and also my Armand Rosamilia fan club group on Facebook as well. That guy's he's gonna jog around the block 100 times, and every single time I'm gonna be looking out the window. Because I like to stay within the subtle horror area. Give characters that people fall in love with, then hurt them. Charlie says, thanks. I never post my own book in those threads. I don't care if they're looking for a kid with a skull for a face hiking to Hermosa Beach. I won't reply. So we had this thing, me, Frank, Tom, and not Chuck. Yeah, I think the three of us, where if we saw something that had anything to do with somebody else's book, then we would comment, hey, you're looking for a haunted hamburger house? Here's Frank Edler's book. And we'd help each other out. Or I would say, hey, I just saw they're looking for, snowy survival book. Can you guys help me out? And then, pretty much then that would be the thing. And then somebody else would post it. I would never post my own book. That's awful. All right, I'm sharing it all over now. Charlie, do me a favor. Let me know if it actually helps. And I'm also spreading them out over the next couple of weeks. So, like on what is this? Blue Sky. The first one will drop in about a week, and I've shared it 4 times on there because I do buffer, setting those up now. So hopefully it will have some legs, as the young kids say. She got legs. She knows how to use them. Yeah, Bode and I do that sometimes, but I left all those pages, so not so much these days. Yeah, I barely go on there. And it's literally most of the time it's, hey, somebody's looking for this. Can you help me out? And then I'll go on there, and then I'll do like a drive by, like Charlie does, where you just like, yeah, I'm gonna like a bunch of stuff because maybe someday, I don't know, I'll need this group. Well, let me share a few more here. So my buffer I use to set up my author page on Facebook, Threads, and Blue Sky. Does it help? I don't know. I think it does. I keep seeing when I go through my YouTube, all the videos that I do that I share on there. I keep seeing those places as outside sources. They're coming in instead of just finding them directly on YouTube. So I guess it helps. We'll see. We'll see. Wilson Phillips. Is buffer paid thing a subscription or based on how many posts you do? It is a I believe it is $8 for each different thing, and you can schedule up to 100 posts for each one. I was in when they first started this, and I got in for $10 a month, and I had it was like as many. It was just Twitter at that point, and Twitter was huge. This is several years ago, and I had 6 different Twitter accounts, and for $10 I could schedule 100 posts for each of them. And there was a thing where they talk about the best times to post. They give you, it basically goes through your account and tells you when you're getting the most eyes on your account. So it's really good. And it worked really well. And then Twitter was garbage. And then the problem was, for me to change it, the $10 there was no grandfathering in, so it was like $8. So I just do the 3 of them. I don't do Twitter at all. I'll jump on Twitter every now and then and hit something, and but otherwise I don't worry about Twitter at all. Like I saw you posted the review on there, Charlie, and I'll share that in a little bit because I just shared it myself. Does it work? I don't know. At this point, does anything work? I just checked my book on KU and have 59 pages read. They stopped 2 days ago. Should I worry? No. A lot of times with Kindle Unlimited, what you got to remember is there's two things that could be happening. Number one, they don't have their internet on. I'll turn mine off so it doesn't drain the battery. And then when I'm done with a book, or then I turn it on, and then it counts all those pages. So there's that. Or more than likely, they just don't like you, Keith. No, I'm just kidding. So they could be. I mean, or they just could have put it off to the side for now. Maybe they got busy with something else. Maybe it was the weekend. Chad says there are some Picasso trigger threads in Reddit because some hold it in such high regard for a B movie. So when the book comes out, I was thinking of going in there and posting, did you guys see this? And that was hurtful, Keith, and I apologize. No, here's what you do, Chad. You find somebody who's on Reddit that you're friendly with, and then they post it in. That would be the better move than you saying, "Here's my book." I think. I'm sure I have a Reddit account, but I am also sure that I have never been on it to do anything. Yeah, Keith. If Keith does it, it's much better. Tries to average around 300 reads on Substack, so hopefully some of those will actually read the review, and a few of those will buy it. That'd be nice. Keith says they have strict rules about self promo, where I create an account and post it in a bunch of bad movie threads, then hit the Picasso trigger ones. It just seems like a lot of. It just seems like a lot of work. Then they catch you, and then you're banned everywhere. You'd be like Bad Brains, banned in DC. I got to come up with. I got to figure out from my list what my Wednesday writing video is going to be about. I don't even know. Just is way too much work for a book that I'm not even very proud of. That is true. Are you on a royalty thing with it, or did you just get paid for it, or both? You run the risk of them catching on. That sort of thing is actually listed in their terms and conditions, I believe. Talk about your press that you mentioned in your other video, which has unfortunately royalties. Do your Wednesday video about anything relating to writing. I need all the help I can get. I got a decent list. I'm always looking for more ideas. The problem with some of these, okay, it's on my list, Charlie, about the press that I meant that I used to do. But then I got to do research. I go through this giant jumble of books that I've written or been involved with, and I got to pull all the books and all that, and that's a lot of work. Like somebody's like, "Oh, talk about Severed Press." Well, until this last book comes out, then I'll take all the Severed Press books and I'll do a little show and tell on all of the books. So I don't want to do it until I get the last book out. So there's a bunch of those. I'm in there now going to mention the book is coming out and give me a date, Chad. Come on, Chad. Give him a date. He wants to date you. His wife is fine with it. She said she's fine with it. The more he's dating other people, the less chance of him giving her really bad movies to watch. So she's cool with it. It's funny that even like a movie like that, you can find a Reddit or something. All right, so we're all set up, Charlie. I do it 4 times in all 3 editions. So get 12 more uh, coming out. Plus, I did it in my Substack. I shared it, so hopefully that will all work. It's going to be some serious necro shit. These posts are 2 years old. Wow. You know what though? Maybe you'll kick it up. You'll start it. You start the thread. People be like, "Oh, I haven't been over here." Choices, and I'll share your shares when I see them. I appreciate it. We'll help each other out. Again, hopefully you'll get some. You get some people. What do you call it? In? Yeah, you know. I don't know what I'm saying. I always like to go through and see who's following you, Charlie, so then I can anybody interesting I can follow back. Which we're following a lot of the same people, which is I guess is good. The suggestions they give are never really on target though. Like I'm only following like horror and crime thriller writers, and then you're like, here's a mom blog. No, I don't want a mom blog. If I want a mom blog, I'll write my own mom blog. I think the sixth, seventh time that person's been around the block. Not more YouTube spam. Zero idea on the day, Keith. Could be in 2 months, could be in 2 years. Substack is definitely hit or miss. Some great stuff on there, but also a lot of what pad crap. Yeah. And I'm subscribed to like a lot, but I keep hitting where I'm like, yeah, I don't want to follow this person. I'm following them, but I don't want to read your email anymore. Not you, Charlie. Okay, I necroed a 1-year-old thread with a vague mention of you. That should give it a boost. How about Western fantasy horror? How's that for a genre? Western fantasy horror. So Western horror was a big thing for a couple. When was that, Chad? Couple 3 years ago. Couple of publishers went heavy on that stuff. I only wrote me and Chuck Buda wrote a Western horror together. In the Marrow, it's called. I would get it from behind me, but that's a lot of work to turn around. Trish says, I'm the same way. I need to narrow down a lot of the people I follow. Lorraine says, hey guys, what did I miss? Everyone behaving? No one is behaving, Lorraine. No one. Thankfully, you're in here now, a lady present. Everybody calm down. You missed me eating pizza. So you did, yeah, I mean, you missed a lot. I have a half-written Western fantasy horror novel. At some point, I'm going to wrap it up with a long story. Gabe Pound says, nuts, that's all I write. What kind of pizza? It was those little mini personal pizzas from Red Baron, the Supreme. It was delicious, I'm going to be honest with you. Keith says, my father loves Westerns, and I've tried to write a Western horror, but I've hated every one that came out of me. Well, that was Chuck Buda's thing. His dad is a huge Western reader. And so he was like, I want to write one. And we wrote a horror one, In the Marrow. And we were going to write, we wrote it for a publisher. Because I had been in their a Western horror anthology, and they loved my story. Absolutely. Like, if you ever write anything, longer, like novella length, I'll buy it. So we wrote it, and then we sent it to him, and then it sat for almost a year. And then I started seeing some sketchy things from this person, their posts about stuff. And then I just said to Chuck, Why don't you just release it since it's a Western? So Chuck released it, and now Chuck's done several Western series. In fact, Chad Lutzke's done covers for him for it. Chad says, yeah, the splatter Westerns were like 3 to 4 years ago. I did the one for Dead Sky Publishing, and the best one I read was Bowden's Walk the Darkness Down, which never gets any attention. Troy says, I have a few Western stories that I like, but I struggle to find somewhere to send them. That's the problem. That's my luck, a day late and $1 short to everything. Lorraine says, hi, Charlie. I've been meaning to catch up. Need to read your last 2 stories in my email box from Substack. Yeah, I think I have those 2 in mine as well. I added in the marrow to my cart. Maybe it will inspire me. Maybe. Chuck writes some good Westerns. His stuff is very good. He obviously was a huge reader of it growing up, and he wanted to write it like, I'm going to write something for my dad kind of thing. And his dad really enjoyed him. Chester, my Western isn't horror, but it's very bloody and very gritty. Lots of bad stuff happens in it. And now everybody's just saying hi to each other. It's nice. So now I got to, how much am I going to save on this BoucherCon? I'm not going to Calgary in 2026, but I am going to BoucherCon DC 2027. It's September 1st to 5th, 2027. So save $35 a person. I think that's pretty good, right? There's no company name. I hate company name, full-time author. Job title. I don't have a job title. Where's Guam? I don't live in Guam. Oh, look, they put country, United States on top. A lot of times it's like you got to go through. At what capacity are you attending, author? Are you an author? Yes. What do you write? Oh, I write a lot. Your job title is professional liar, yeah. BoucherCon is just crime and thriller stuff, right? Yeah. Yeah, it's yes. But there's a ton of readers that go. About 70% of the people who go are readers, and they love cornering authors and talking to them. I actually sold a handful of books last year, and a lot of people were asking, are you going to be in Calgary this year? And I'm like, no. What do you write? Yes, I'm interested in being on a panel. If you want a t-shirt, what size would you like? Giant fat? Bloody and Gritty sounds like a Western should. I've never read a Western, but I grew up watching them and still love a movie Western, but you see 1 or 2 a decade, it seems. They have channels for that. My mother-in-law will. So my father-in-law was a huge John Wayne fan. Of course, then I would talk crap about him, not to his face, because he was much, much bigger than me, but to my wife. I'm like, oh, draft dodger John Wayne? Stuff like that. But my mother-in-law now, she has dementia, and she'll find like a Western channel, and then she just literally will watch Westerns for like 12 hours. And my wife's Aunt Vicky watches, I want to say Gunsmoke. Probably Gunsmoke. One of those. All day. That's all she watches. Yes, I would like to moderate a panel. Yes, I want my name in the. Your website. You. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to cheat a little bit here. A little something, something. I'm going to put my YouTube channel on my on this. You want to know why? Because by this point in 2027, I will not have a um, a website. Yes, I wish I could read faster and had more time to do it. My collection of books from you guys is growing and taunting me from my TBR basket. Pontificator says, I love Westerns. Shane, the Magnificent Seven, War Wagon. I just love them. Come back, Shane. Love the Magnificent Seven. Yeah, those are all phenomenal movies. Here's the mailman. He better bring my YouTube thing. It's taking forever to fill these forms out. Okay. Yes. Yes. Yes, I want a t shirt. No, I don't want to volunteer. Lorraine says Clint Eastwood westerns. Yes, please. We appreciate you, Lorraine. Charles Graham like writes decent westerns that I've heard. Wasn't Jack Palance great in that film? He was such an evil gunfighter. High Plains Drifter, best Clint Eastwood western. They're all good. $520 for the two of us to go. Worth it. Hold on. All right. Downloaded my receipts. We are part of BoucherCon now. Ooh. Ryan says, thanks, Chad. Actually, I'm reading them to see what makes you guys tick. Just kidding. In all seriousness, I'm enjoying reading the work of the people that I've come to enjoy and respect here. I hope you don't respect all these people. Chad says, anyone else a mood reader as if you're currently reading like half a dozen different books? Lorraine says, I'm a definite mood reader. Keith says, I'm still trying to get through the Friends of Eddie Quill. It's not doing it for me, but I'm determined to finish. It is it's not an easy read, but again, it's written in 1972, and it sets up everything that comes after, more or less. That is kind of the blueprint for every other crime thriller author to that point. It's kind of like going, oh, I watched Alien, or I watched Halloween, or Friday the 13th, and now you're watching all the movies that come after that, and you're like, well, that wasn't a great movie compared to this one, but it's the start of it. Lauren says, but I'm never in the mood for cozy this and that. The deeper dive, the better. Chad says, have fun at the con, Arm, and tell the cool people I said hello. Only the cool people. I will, but that's like a year and a half from now, Chad. So can you remind me? Can you remind me in like September of 2027? I'm not going to remember that. I'll be honest with you. And if I wrote it down on a Post-it note, chances are that Post-it notes, one of the cats is going to take it. Charlie says, I'm a mood reader too. Always at least a couple of novels going on with a few short stories here and there. So I always have something on my Kindle I'm reading, and then I always have something on print book or two that I dive into. So I'm reading Silverfish, I think it's called. It is a spy thriller, and which I normally don't read too many. I've read them, but I don't. That's not something I just pick up. But the publisher sent me the copy, and the PR person, she's very nice, and I've read and reviewed a couple of other books from them. I did read a book. I started a book not too long ago from them, maybe 6 months. I was like, I don't. Thank you, but I'm going to put this book in my little free library. It's just not for me. And she was like, that's fine. Took a shot. So I'd rather that than a bad review. I said, yeah, I can't finish this. But this one so far is pretty good. I started it last night. And I'm reading I just finished that Jill Isn't Happy book. That was very good. It was a oh, watch the review. I just did a review of it, I think, yesterday. Really good. The theme for BoucherCon in Washington D.C. is mystery most monumental. Get it? So we're going to that one. I started another novel last night when I'm already in the middle of like four others. My mother was big on that. My mother would she would have a book next to her on the couch. She had a book on her end table in bed. She had a book in the bathroom, and there was a book when she was a smoker outside on the near the back door. So she would grab it and go out and smoke and read outside. So she had like four books going all the time. I think she still has two books, one in the living room and one in her bedroom now. So she's always reading a couple different things, which I will do. People are always like, well, isn't it confusing? No, how is it confusing? You know, it's confusing. You're questioning me, everything I do. Chad says, Armand, did you see the signed Lansdale I got for $5? The eBay seller didn't realize it was signed. Yeah, that's pretty. That's a pretty good, pretty cool thing. And then layering in your stories, Charlie, keeps the ideas flowing. Yeah, that was very cool. One time, I grabbed from the library here, in Jacksonville. I grabbed they'd gotten in a Brian Lumley um, short story collection that was limited to like 75 copies or something. And I was like, oh, that's weird they have that. So I put it on hold and I got it and it was signed. It was like number 15 or something. It was signed by Brian Lumley. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. I gave it back. I mean, I'm not going to steal a book, but I thought that was kind of neat. I'm really not a big, I'm really not a big like signed books thing. I have a shelf down here of all the books, not all the books, a lot of the books signed to me over the years. And then most of them I just take and I give them away. When Nick Zinn is here, not Nixon, Nick Zinn, I'll give him a bunch of books. He's like, well, this is signed by so and so. I'm like, I don't care. Then you know what? Then find somebody named Armin and sell it. I don't care. This is like a quick bite for breakfast to fuel my ideas for the day. Oh yeah, short stories are good for that. I love short stories. I love reading short stories at night, but I'm like, I'm a little tired. So instead of reading whatever the book I have on the Kindle, I will read a short story instead. And yeah, short stories are awesome. So when you get a really, it feels like a really good short story is like flash fiction. Like I read it and I'm like, well, that was that. I want more of this. And then a really bad story, it's like a novella. And I know both of those stories are like, say, 3,000 words each, but it's just like, oh my god, like I'm I'm I'm, I'm fighting here to finish this stupid story, and then I get to a point and I'm like, I don't like this. I don't like the characters. I don't like anything. Of next. What is this crap? I hate when they I I get signed up for all of these stupid political newsletters, and I'm like, I know damn well I didn't sign up for this. Because why would I? But all of a sudden I get like 10 emails from this crap. Chess, a few years ago I got a Lansdowne on eBay, and inside there was a postcard from Joe to someone in 1991, which is always neat. Troy says, I don't think I have any signed books yet. You guys are the first real writers I've talked too much. Too much, right? You've talked too much to us, is what you're saying. I get it. Maybe someday we will meet in person, Charlie. That would be neat. You know, get your ducks all in a row, and you get an invite to MondoCon. Oh, it says, I'm trying to put myself in the psychological horror and folk horror headspace lately to help me with my writing latest project. Choices, I prefer reading and writing short stories. Chaz says, I'm not big on signatures either, but I do have a handful. I think I have 7 Lansdale, 2 Henry Rollins, 1 Ronnie Dio, and 1 Jack Ketchum. Choices, my story was accepted into the anthology of YouTubers that'll be out in a few months, working on the edits now. Oh, very cool. Good job is right. Somebody just subscribed to me on the Substack, on the stack of subs. And I will follow you. I will follow you back, ma'am. And I will call you ma'am. But not to your face. Some people don't like that. Well, this person writes, Lana writes with a W. I write Southern Gothic novels. You know what? Florida native? Oh, yeah, I'm subscribing to you, honey. I want to see what your Substack is going to throw at us. You know what I'm saying? He says, I have a Douglas Clegg and Adam Troy Castro signed copies. That's it. Adam Troy Castro still is the greatest, has the greatest zombie short story ever. Dead Like Me. That is still my favorite zombie short story ever. And I think the last time I saw him was probably the last time I saw you, Keith, at Oasis. Trust, I would love to track down some Carl Edward Wagner signed books with those cool covers. It's hard enough to find his books unsigned. Those signatures I have to do not include friend writers. I have lots of those from Bowden and Armand to Mallerman and Hunter Shea. Yeah, I got a lot of those. Like, I'm not getting rid of, like, actually, that's not true. I have given away a couple of the Thunderstorm books, but those were books that were given to me. Either by, like, Brian Keene, when I was at his, he would hand me a stack of books. And I'd be like, oh, okay, thanks. I'm not reading any of these. Then I would, like, pass them along. Lorraine says, keep us updated on that anthology, Charlie. Yeah, definitely. It seems interesting. Every time somebody follows me on Substack, I always like to then I try to follow them back and one other person. And I can't spell. Excuse me. Well, that was uncalled for. Just says, I will edits are due May 1st. The first anthology was titled Weird Frequencies and was really good. And how'd you pick that up? Through YouTube? I don't think I've ever even heard of that. I've heard of YouTube. Oh, what is this garb? Oh, Charlie likes your comment. Come on, Charlie. It's for sale on Amazon. The people in it are all YouTubers, and it's edited by a YouTuber. Cool. It says, Chad, tell me about Robert Ford, who wrote You the Forward to Avon with Exodus. Great stuff. I almost started Avonwood, then switched to Foster Homes and Flies per your request. Chaz Robert Ford is a mutual friend of myself and Armand. Great crime, western, and sometimes horror author. Sexy man with cool bracelets that does a book reading like no other. Yeah, his book readings are phenomenal. He is a great guy. Man, I haven't seen Bob in years. I know with all the from his girlfriend. I know with all of the issues there. I know he stopped hanging out with a lot of people he used to hang out with all the time, which is a shame. But tis what tis. Right, says Keith's writing style leans a little more toward my style, but the rest of you guys paint your worlds with so few words that I'm confused at how you're able to pull off such engaging stories. I'm learning a lot from you all. For me, writing, and again, doing this for as many years as I've writing in the beginning for me was I say it like I'm looking at the reader like they're morons and they don't know what I'm saying, so I have to overly explain it. I'm not saying that's what you or Keith do. I'm just saying for me, I go, you know what, the reader is smart enough to figure this out. And if they're not, or if I'm not writing it where they can figure it out, beta readers will beat me up over it. But I got really busy for a long while ghostwriting westerns for the money. Yeah. Yeah, I kind of lost touch with talking to Bob. You know, I would see him at Scares That Care every year. I like Bob so much I would actually stand outside while he was smoking. And I don't smoke, and I don't like smoke. I can't get through a single chat without a typo. I know. We know what you mean. I mean, it could be worse. It could be Frank Edler. I don't think I mentioned yesterday. Frank or Tom brought it up. While we were on vacation, on our anniversary, there's a writer. I'm not going to say his name in case he actually watches this. That was like, hey, we're going to be down there on our boat, me and my wife. We'll come hang out and get a drink. And I said that to my wife, and she was like, we're on our anniversary. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I don't want to hang out with anybody else. The idea is we're getting away from everybody. So I was like, very nice. I was like, nah, you know what? We're going out to a romantic dinner Saturday night, and I don't want to if I make googly eyes at you all weekend, my wife will get mad. So next time we're in town, we can hang out. I thought that was a little weird. I'm like, we're on our anniversary. Maybe we want to celebrate. You know what I'm saying? Just, yeah, I use as few words as possible and trust the reader with everything in me. I get bored with descriptions, so I don't write them much unless it's either interesting or integral to the story. Lorenz says, I'm a poet, so words are candy to me. So it's hard for me to stop. Yeah, I agree, Chad. You don't need big descriptions about stuff. Everybody knows what. Like, I'm writing a thing now right here where the lady is stealing candy from a grocery store. And I don't have to give you the description of a grocery store. Everybody knows what a grocery store is. So I don't need like, I'm going to do 15 pages about this grocery store and the sale on, Charmin this week or some stupid, But I would do that. I used to, every friggin' thing about everything. Oh, maybe somebody's never been to a grocery store. Let me write what a grocery store looks like. It's one of those that's one of those things. I don't know what I was going to say. What is this now? Holy crap. Hey, it's Mike. Are you averaging over $30,000 in monthly revenue? If so, would you like $125,000 payback, $146,000 over 13 to 18 months to help the business? and I say F off. Then I block you. Then I treasured. That's like the fourth one of those today. And the funny part is, all because my wife, like, I don't know, a year and a half ago, got a loan condensed. You pay off some credit cards and you get like a 0% whatever, blah blah blah. She's very good at managing our money. But my name's not on the house, not on the cars. My name's not on much. My name's on a couple of credit cards. I have phenomenal, phenomenal credit score, thanks to my wife, because she pays everything off every month. But when she went and got this loan to condense everything, they needed my signature. They had to come to the house and get my signature, even though because I live here, and they basically it's like we didn't want you to do anything without your husband knowing. And she's like, well, even if I did, he doesn't own any of this stuff. But since then, because my information is on there, I've gotten a million emails and text messages about stuff, and also about my business. I keep getting phone calls. I'm like, I'm out of business. That's it. That's my rant. Trust says I definitely try for a minimalistic style, though sometimes it varies depending on the atmosphere of the story I'm writing. Chad says a lot of it has to do with my attention span. I love Tolkien, but I can only take so much description of the hills over there before you've pulled me right out of the Shire and back to Battle Creek. Yeah. Lorraine says I don't write purple prose or give long descriptions, but it's not lean. More like Kristen Hanna or Della Owens. I've read Della Owens. Haven't read either of them before, Lorraine. Charlie says, I wish I could write leaner and I'm working towards it. And it's just a matter of just writing and writing. I haven't read those either. Like, what do they write? Rain says, what, Chad? Skip the Colleen Hoover. Try reading your own stuff out loud and feel the rhythm of it, Charlie. See if you bore yourself or get excited and pressure yourself with the storytelling instead of the language. Yeah. Adela Owens wrote Where the Crawdads Sing, which is a very good book. Hannah wrote The Great Alone, which I've never read. Chad says, "Okay, I've heard good things about Crawdads Sing. I didn't. I thought the movie wasn't all that bad either. The book much better though, because you get into character, you get into her head." I initially wasn't going to read Crawdads because it was so popular, but it felt very familiar. Yeah, I got a when it. I think before it came out, I got an advance of it, and I just sat and I didn't read it, and then at some point, I think that's when like they announced the movie and stuff, and I was like, let me start this thing, and I actually really liked it. Pleasantly surprised. Whereas Charlie, I don't think your style needs to be leaner because one of the things I like best about your writing is the immersive imagery. But lean stuff is not for everyone. Some people want something wordy, and that's fine. Bottom line, write the book you want to read. Exactly. It's not a bad thing the way Chad writes, the way I write, the way Charlie writes, the way any of us write. I haven't read your stuff, Lorraine, so I'm not. I'm not sure. I've read Keith's stuff. I just write what pops in my head the way I already think and feel. Yeah. I have a book signing coming up in a couple of weeks. May 2nd, Saturday. If you guys are anywhere near Palm Coast, Florida, come hang out with me from 11 to 4 at the library. 30 authors. I'm thinking about bringing Tom with me because my wife will be, I think she's got a massage booked already on that day. So I'll be on my own, like an animal. Troy says the goal would be to paint a whole scene with one sentence or just a few words. I try to work that balance between both worlds, Keith says. And I think you do an excellent job of that, Keith. And I've read, Charlie, I've read your short stories on Substack, and I like them. I like what you're doing. Don't think you have to, I got to change this because this is how other people write or whatever. Write how you write, right? Right. Couple of thank yous. So our voices that make the story different. Remember, there are only 7 different plots out there. One plot if you're writing for Hallmark. And all the best to your book signing, Armin. Sounds like fun with all those authors. Yeah, I don't really talk to the other authors. Literally, this is the 3rd year I'm doing this one, and only because it's like an hour or so away. But it is where my son lives in that town, and his tattoo shop is literally a block and a half away. And then my mother's like a half an hour further south from there. So I'll have my daughter on that day pick up my mom, bring them up, and then we'll go grab something to eat afterwards. So it's fun. I'll break out my new tablecloth. I got a tablecloth that I haven't used yet, I don't believe. It's a crime scene tablecloth I got off of Amazon. And I'll probably just bring my I'm probably not going to bring a ton of books with me. I don't sell a ton of books. But there are other authors there that I'll hang out with. Plus, they feed us pub subs. And at the end I always try to go first I'm fat. I guess I shouldn't this year, but I'll go like when the lady comes around last year. She's like, "The pub subs are here. Do you want to go?" And I was like, "Yeah, yeah." And then I'll go grab a pub sub, and then towards the end, she's like, "There's more. There's more pub subs back there if you want another." Like they'll cut them in quarters. They give you a couple of quarters and a bag of chips and a drink. Then I'll go in and I'll just eat another whole sub. Then go to dinner with my mother and my kids after, and my wife. My wife usually comes. Says, you guys, Roddy, the one-legged handyman, has eaten too much salsa and he's paying for it dearly, while Jinx handles the next suspect. Be on the lookout for my debut of That Which Is True Cannot Be on May 5th, Amazon. Yep. Looking forward to it. May 5th is, what day is May 5th on? It's a Tuesday. It's also Cinco de Mayo that day. So it means something, I think, Spanish, that means eat with mayonnaise, I believe, is how that's. I've never heard of too much salsa, Chad. Yeah. It's impossible. Hopefully, Chad will explain it in several pages. Lorraine says, after that, I finally won't be the only one on this chat who hasn't published anything. Nick Zinn also has not published anything. You haven't had Crystal Ann salsa in a parking lot barbecue during a Neon Owl block party, Keith. Yeah, exactly. If you do your job right, Chad, I will. Even with your lean styles, Chad and Armand have very different voices. Blows my mind really about how that's possible. But I'm hooked either way. Yeah, me and Chad tried to write something together one time. We have two very different approaches to the written word as well. Neither of us is, it's not good or bad, it's just different, which is pretty good. That's, I mean, my Spanish is a little rusty. Lorraine says, wait, Armin, you eat salsa? I missed something. I thought you didn't like condiments. Lorraine, I'm going to explain this to you. I'm going to try not to get angry. Salsa and barbecue sauce are not condiments. The definition of condiment is stuff that I don't eat. I don't eat ketchup. I don't eat mustard. I only eat mayonnaise. I use a little bit of mayonnaise in my tuna just to clump it. I don't eat relish. I don't eat any of those things. Salsa is not a condiment. Barbecue sauce, not a condiment. End of story. I'm not going to argue with anybody. Somebody says anything else, tries to pick a fight with me, I'm blocking you. There you go. Keith, are you challenging me to include a homemade salsa recipe at the end of the book? Yeah, if it's got to be a salsa recipe, that's going to make Keith go to the bathroom a lot. 6 parts laxatives. Right, says, I was going to release it on May 4th, my birthday, but I followed the ever sage advice of Gemini telling me the Tuesday release is better. I don't know if that's really necessarily, I mostly do on Tuesdays, but in this day and age, you just release whenever. It's not a bad thing, though, the release on Tuesday. Everybody releases Tuesday. Chaz says, plus Armand and I are both alphas. That's why we butt heads sometimes. Yeah, but I'm definitely a more of an alpha than you are. You're like a alpha minus, buddy. He says, Chad, you need to paint that picture so that I envision myself there. Manly alpha males squaring off over a plot twist. Who will back down first? Pontific says, I haven't published anything either. You'll get there, though. Does the day of the week matter? It used to. It was traditionally Tuesdays were release dates for DVDs, VHS tapes, books, music. And then because now of self-publishing and all that, we really don't adhere to that. So it's really whenever you want to put it out. I've never had where it's like, oh, it's definitely, on a certain day helps you more or less or whatever. Especially if people already know it's coming out. Or says, okay, I'm zipping my lips forever about the condoms, Armand. Thank you. I hopefully Chad someday will also zip his lips. Pontificator says, whoops, I am way behind in this conversation. I don't really think you probably missed too many important things, but print books for the memoir series are releasing Monday. This is me going against the grain. You have always been a rebel. My thing is I try to do every 28 days for the algorithm. That was always the goal. Every 28 days. Of course, then Tom screwed that up last month by releasing it a week later, but then it doesn't really matter anyway because my book sales are crap. Chad says, I like to release on birthdays because then you get the guilt advantage manipulating sales. That's what I do every year. November 21st, I do another short story collection, no matter what day of the week it is. I don't want your help with YouTube. Stop sending me these spammy messages. All right, says, what genre do you write? Pontificator. Ponce de Leon. I actually don't think that's your name. And once he asks, answers that question, I have a question for Chad. While we're waiting for him to answer, Chad, here's my question: when you got monetized on YouTube, I don't know how it was back then, but now they mail you a PIN number for AdSense, and it's been a week. How long did that normally take to get that in the mail if they were doing that then? That's my question to you, Chad. It's a two-part. Good strategy, Chad. Maybe I should listen to you instead of Gemini. I don't know why you would listen to Gemini to begin with. I mean, ideally, it doesn't really matter as long as the book is released. Is it on pre-order, Lorraine? Pontificator says Western fantasy horror as of late. Whenever I see Pontificator's name in there, I think it says Picante Pontificator, and now I'm thinking about sauce again. So I think it says mild Picante Pontificator. You know what I might have? Speaking of that, I might do breakfast burritos for dinner tonight because I do have extra couple packets of mild picante just lying around. I was going to do a cheesesteak sandwich. That's a good name. I might use that. Chess says, yes, I remember the AdSense nonsense. I honestly don't remember how long it took. At least a week, though, maybe 10 business days. All right. I was like, what are we even talking about here? But I mean, you still got paid on time, right? Like, I don't want it holding me up. Like I'm incrementally climbing a little bit each day. Like I'm over $50 after like 9 days so far. So I know I'll hit 100. Who can say? For instance, it takes too long for me to write pontificator. Yeah, I just say pontificator. So I have to go with Mr. P until you come up with something else. Sorry, just wet my brain in two left hands demand. No pre-order. All right. So you're just gonna go in on Monday night or something and put it up. Are you going to be on Kindle Unlimited with that, Lorraine? Is my follow-up question. I don't know that pre-orders would help Lorraine, considering she doesn't have a readership yet. Well, I don't think it would help her at all. I would just, for me, to order it ahead of time. I'm not worried about everybody else. I'm too new to figure out whether I should have done that or not. Yeah. Now, yeah, a pre-order, unless you have a bunch of people that are going to, and listen, my pre-orders are garbage now. I put up a pre-order just so I know the book is done and it's up there. Like I actually have to do that for I do the Dirty Deeds box set in May, but it's only going to be the book 1 to 4. I'm doing it in 3 different groups over the next several months. I'm too new to figure out. Well, my pen name is JD Haas. Everybody just calls me Haas. Nice. I hope your author picture is you standing next to cattle. Chaz, but they do that thing where they hold your money until you make so much anyway. It's $100, and then they pay you monthly. So since I started in the middle of the month, I would imagine I might go like 6 weeks. Like I'm not, like I want the money. I do want the money, but I'm not. I just want to get to that $100 part and have all this AdSense stuff done. Kisa, I have 59 pages read so far on KU, and that's 29 cents in my pocket. That's right. Haas it is. Kindle Unlimited, yes. So this is what I'm going to do. When the book drops on that Tuesday, then I will download it on Kindle Unlimited and read it that way. But I'm also going to buy a print book when the print book is out as well. Because it is my goal one day, Lorraine, to meet you in person and have you sign your book. Now, you might be 3 or 4 or 5 books into your career at that point, but still. So you're getting 2 sales out of me. What's that Western TV series from the 70s with Haas? Yeah, that one. Haas Cartwright? Bonanza? That's what her Aunt Vicky watches. Bonanza. 1959 to 1972. He was 6'4", 300 plus pounds. Haas was a loyal rancher on the Ponderosa who combined strength with humor. Mr. P says good luck. Chaz says, well, it's nap time for this young stud. Hope to talk to you guys tomorrow. Happy reading and writing. Oh, yeah, it's 2 hours in. Oh, yeah, I would have eventually remembered probably an hour from now. He says, I just can't figure if people with KU actually buy books or if there's enough KU titles to keep them busy. That would be to decide putting the rest of the series in KU. Take it sleazy, Chad. It is a different reader. It is definitely a different reader in KU than it is in. I look at it as my money from KU, my money from ebooks, my money from print books, and then my money from audiobooks. It's not the same customer generally. They do one or the other. Probably about 75 to 80% of my money on Amazon comes from KU. Tristan, I know a lot of KU readers only read KU. Yeah, for the most part, I only read KU unless somebody gives me a free book. I would love to meet you, Armand, and sign a copy for you. You have become my YouTube author, Elvis. I look like Haas, so I stole the name. Nice. All right, everybody, we're going to wrap this up. I want to thank everybody for hitting the subscribe. I want to thank everybody either live or after for watching the ads and helping me keep living this dream of making money off of all this garbage. Thanks for everybody hanging out. I will be back tomorrow. We will do this again at noon Eastern Standard Time. So bring some questions and some fun facts. See everyone tomorrow.